Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. It is a crazy day here today. We actually have our neighbors, first thing this morning, they have this big burn pile right on our property line between us and them, but our animals are by there. So we're outside a lot this morning. Charles has gone to work, and I'm trying to make sure the animals are good and staying safe and not freaked out. So our neighbors are out there too. They're trying to make sure the animals are safe and nobody's freaking out. So I am going to jump into breakfast, lunch, and dinner today. I am prepping some things for tomorrow, and I definitely have some stuff going on in the kitchen today. So, all right, to start, let's just jump into breakfast. All right, so for breakfast today, we decided to just do a very simple smoothie, fruit smoothie, because it is already 11 o'clock, and we have a yummy lunch planned for later. So I'm gonna start with a piece of ginger. And here I have some, see if I can get where you guys can see. Here I have bananas, and then I have a few beets from the garden. I am also going to add some spinach, some mango, a scoop of protein powder. I'll do about a scoop and a half. If you guys can see in here, it's almost gone. This is just our Sun Warrior vanilla. My mouth and brain are not working today. Okay, and now Ronnie just juiced us a bunch of oranges. The rest of our oranges, we just have clementines left now. And we're gonna blend this up. I'm gonna probably add a little bit of water to this as well. Now this is one of Theo and Ronnie's favorites. Theo will literally drink a whole mason jar full, a quart of this smoothie. He loves it. And Ronnie does too. All right, so here is breakfast for everybody. I found these in our summer box when I was going through stuff. I used to have about 12 of them, but I'm down to 4. But that's what we're gonna have. And there's still a little bit left in there for whoever wants it. That's our breakfast. So while we're drinking our smoothie, I'm gonna finish prepping lunch, or getting lunch ready. So these beans are just pinto beans, and I put them into soak yesterday morning, because I knew I wanted to make tostadas for lunch today because we love them. So I want to go on and get these beans going because they need to thicken up some. They need to thicken up some so that we can use them for lunch. Because when I first make homemade refried beans, they're fat-free. They're not technically refried, but they taste just like it. Tastes just like what you get at a restaurant, the best beans ever. But they're very runny until they cool off, and then they thicken up to be the perfect texture and consistency. So I want to get those made. I'm going to share with you how I make them because that takes an hour to make. Then we're going to make some pickled onion because Ronnie absolutely loves that. So I'm going to make some pickled onion and I'll share that with you. And yeah, so let's get these beans going. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just start off with some water. I'm going to make enough water in here to cover the beans about an inch. So I am making a lot of beans here because they freeze beautifully. So I'm going to freeze some so that next time we want them, I can just pull them out and have them in small containers ready to go. Okay, I'm going to add a can of green chilies. Then I'm going to use this Better Than Bouillon roasted garlic base. They have so many flavors. This stuff is so good. But you could use any kind of bouillon you want or leave it out, but I highly recommend you use it. This is, like I said, a big pot. So I'm going to stir that in. I'm going to add some cumin. I like a lot of cumin. I'm gonna add some onion powder. You can also add a can of tomato sauce or enchilada sauce if you want. That's really good to it as well. I'm gonna add some liquid smoke. This doesn't take a lot, and it adds such good flavor. Now this again is a big pot, or I would just do a few drops. A little goes a long way with this. Then I'm gonna add some salt, and I'll add more later, probably after we try it. And that's all I'm gonna do today. You could definitely add more spices if you want. Chili powder is good in it. There's lots of spices you could add. Cinnamon is really good in it. Turmeric is good in it. And then I'm just gonna hit pressure cook, and I'm gonna do it for an hour. An hour, a minute. There we go, that's it. Okay, so the first step with the pickled onions is to start with a red or purple onion, whatever you want to call it. I always call them red. And just remove all the skins. Then we're just gonna slice this thin and just kind of keep it in rings. We're not dicing it, we're just slicing it. Okay, and then I just have a mason jar here. I'm gonna put all the onions in the mason jar. You could do more than one onion if you want. I think one's enough, because it only is good for a week or two in the fridge, and you only use just a little bit when you are topping stuff with it. Okay, so now I've got my onion. Okay, so to a pan, we're gonna add 1 cup of water. We're gonna have 1 cup of vinegar. I'm just using white vinegar here. A little bit of salt. And then I'm also gonna add just a little bit of oregano. Now I'm gonna put this back here on high, and I'm gonna get this to just get to a boiling so it's all kind of cooked. Now this is like dill pickles, so it is a bit sour or like a dill pickle. And if you wanted it to be a little bit sweeter, you could add a little honey, maple syrup, sugar, monk fruit, whatever. You could add a little bit of that, and that would give it like that sweet and sour taste. But Ronnie likes it just like this, no sugar added, and I'm making it because she requested it. So I'm leaving it just like that. Okay, so now this is boiling. So I am just gonna pour this in this jar, and that's it. That's how you make it. So I'm gonna let this cool down, and then this will go in the fridge, and these will turn into this bright pink, beautiful onions that look great on top of anything. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna prep for today, well, it's actually for the next 2 days, we're not gonna actually have it today, is bread. It's baguettes. Now let me tell you, these are the easiest bread in the world to make. It uses very little yeast, very inexpensive to make. Oh, the Instant Pot starting. Very easy to make. The only catch is it needs to sit 24 to 48 hours before you use it. So you don't need it, you don't do anything. I'm gonna show you, we're gonna make 2 batches. I'm holding up 4 fingers. We're gonna make 2 batches because I wanna have it for the next 2 days. I wanna have 1 batch for tomorrow for lunch and 1 batch for the next day for lunch. And it truly is, you mix it in a bowl, walk away, and don't do anything with it until the next day. So here is how you make it. Easiest bread ever, and it really is delicious. Okay, I'm just gonna use a really big bowl. I'm gonna make 2 batches, but I'm gonna put it all in one bowl. So I'll just use half of it tomorrow and let the other half sit for another 24 hours. All right, so we're gonna start with our flour. This bread only has 4 ingredients. So 5 cups of flour would be 1 loaf of bread. But I am doing 2, so we're gonna do 10 cups of flour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to grind some more flour real quick. More wheat. So we stopped at 8. There is 9 and 10. So this will make 2 loaves, well, 2 batches. It'll make 4 baguettes. Each batch makes 2. Okay, so to this I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of salt, or you would add 2 if you were doing a single batch. I'll have the recipe for a single batch down below. I'm going to do a teaspoon of yeast. You would do a half a teaspoon if you were doing a single batch. Then here, I'm just going to kind of mix this all together. I'm going to add 4.5 cups of water, warm water. Now we're going to stir this together. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water. I want all this dry flour to get wet. All right, next I am just going to cover this. All right, I'm just going to put 2 of these over because this is just such a big bowl, but I want to give it room to rise, which is why I picked such a big bowl. All right, that's it. This is one of the easiest breads ever. Kate used to make it all the time for us. And it is just, it's really good, but it is baguette, so it's like a crunchy bread. We're gonna make like a potato green chili corn chowder. I think tomorrow the girls and I wanted to have that for lunch. And then there's another day I'm gonna make a lentil and kale soup because I have some frozen kale. So I was gonna do some soups the next couple days for lunch. And so baguettes are perfect for that. Plus I wanted to share this with you guys because so many of you say you don't have all the equipment. What if you don't have a mixer? What if you don't have all the stuff? This is an easy way to make homemade bread without having any of that, and you don't have to worry about kneading it. You don't have to spend a ton of time in the kitchen. It's just a really easy, nice bread. Now, real quick, I'll show you. This is already turning into this beautiful color, beautiful pink color. So this needs to cool. You can see it's still kind of smoking a little bit. This needs to cool a little bit longer, but then that'll go in the fridge. That's it for now. Okay, so this, then If you can see, you probably can't. It actually stopped 25 minutes ago. I've been busy trying to edit for you guys. So we need to get this mixed up. So the other thing why that's venting is my plans for dinner tonight were to go out and grill. I was gonna grill chicken and some corn on the cob and some pineapple because we need to use up our pineapple, and I was gonna grill all that up and then just make some rice in the house. However, the neighbors are doing their field today. The farmers are out, which if you do not live by farmers, when they get the fields ready, it is not good to be outside. You have to keep all your windows closed. The dirt flies everywhere. I'm watching because they're back by our area now, by our animals. But anyway, the dirt flies everywhere. So it is not something you want to really do when they get the fields ready and when they collect all the stuff. I think they're planting corn this year. They've done soybeans the last few years. So when they do the corn this year, when they come and harvest all of that, lots and lots of corn, we don't want to be outside either. It gets just, you can't hardly even see. It's like fog outside. It's so dirty. So anyway, point being, yay, that's done venting. Sorry, you probably just had to hear that so much. But anyway, so I decided today to do the burgers for dinner. Keep it super simple. Just we'll do some burgers, we'll do some home fries. I've got some bag of coleslaw that I just found in my fridge that I forgot that I had opened for something, I don't remember what. But I need to use that because it's gonna be bad. So I'll make some coleslaw. And as you know though, we don't have things like buns at my house. So I need to make some buns for dinner. So we'll do that after we're done with lunch. And yeah, I'm just gonna have a simple, the pickled onions will be good on top of the burger as well. I don't have cheese to put on top, but you don't gotta have cheese. And somebody just surprised me as he's walking in. This is only 1:15 and he is home. So he's gonna have tostadas today too, which luckily I have some leftover taco meat in the fridge from the other day when I didn't film. And I said I took a day off. All I did was make some taco meat. That's an easy dinner and do taco salads. So, all right. This beans are ready to go, so let's get those mushed up. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my immersion blender. I just drained a little bit of the liquid off the top, and I'm just gonna mash this. Now it will look very runny, but it will not stay runny. It will turn into the perfect consistency as soon as it cools, and then it'll stay that way. It just thickens up, and I just can't even tell you, it's perfect. Once you make your own, if you follow this recipe and you make it, you cannot go back to eating it out of a can. Every time I make beans, my mother insists that I put some in the freezer for her as well because she's like, I can't eat any other beans now. They're so good. These do not need a thing. They're absolutely perfect. So, I'm gonna dish some of these out. I'm just gonna dish them out into a bowl here so that they'll cool faster and we have them for lunch because it is already 1:15. And in this big pot, it just takes a while for that to cool. It'll take a few hours. All right, so in about 30 minutes, I'll come down and we'll make our lunch. Okay, so the other day I did have Charles stop and pick me up some corn tortillas. Now you guys saw last time I tried to make them myself, it was a disaster. I think though, as much as we love corn chips and corn tortillas, I'm gonna pop my head under here. I think I'm gonna go on and get a tortilla press and learn how to do it because I think it's so much healthier to make it yourself. And I just have to keep trying and I will get there and be able to do it. But right now I have this that's not expensive to buy a bag. It's a couple dollars, that's all. Okay, so in my pan, I just lined it with some foil. My pan is looking just awful. I'm gonna have to get some new pans. But I'm gonna just lay some of these on. I'm not gonna put anything on them. I'm not gonna spray them with the oil. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna bake it at 350 degrees and let these get crispy for a few minutes. And then we'll take them out and top them with all the yummy toppings. So I'll pop these in the oven. I also wanted to show you real quick, so I ended up moving the beans to a plate so that they would firm up quicker. And if you see, once they get cooler, they're just the perfect consistency. And they're perfect. Just what you want. They're good and spreadable. Now, if you don't want them so loose, then you can always just add less water or scoop. Okay, so now these are getting crispy. They're not all the way crispy yet, but they're getting there. I'm gonna add some beans. If you want to add meat to that, you could. We're just keeping it really simple. The girls and I just really wanting some of this. Just like this. And I was going to make Charles some with the little bit of taco meat we have left, but he said he really didn't want anything. He ended up eating the lunch that I made him at like 10:30 before he came home. So that's all right. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of cheese on top. This is just sharp cheddar. All right, then I'm gonna pop these back in the oven to warm the rest of the way up. Now, when they come out, I have some lime, I have some tomatoes chopped up, some avocado chopped up, I have some lettuce here, we have a can of black olives diced, and of course we have our beautiful onions. And I almost forgot, I have this little bit of partially dried cilantro. So when you buy it like this, it's like $4 to get it. It's a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't go bad fast. Even when I keep cilantro in the fridge, in a container, with water, it still always goes bad. So until mine come in, this is one of our favorites to use. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add toppings. I'm gonna start with some lettuce. Kate, do you want everything on yours? Not Kate. Where's Kate? Right here. Then I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lime. Then I'm going to do just a few tomatoes. Corn and black beans are good on this too. We've done it that way many a times. Or to make what we call what is that salsa called, Kate?
Yes.
Fiesta salad. That's so good too. And then some black olives. Now, of course, Charles wouldn't eat any of this. I'm gonna do some avocado. This is for me and Kate. Ronnie will not do avocado. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of the cilantro. And top it with just a little bit of the pickled onions, which get softer as it goes. I'll just break these. And that's it. That's our lunch. All right, one last thing, a tiny bit of sriracha. All right, I'm gonna taste it for you since Charles isn't doing a taste test right now. That's so good. All right, we're gonna go eat lunch. All right, so the beans made enough for us to have a big bowl here in our fridge. And actually I need to let that cool off a little bit more. And then I've got 4 containers to put in my freezer. Now my mother will probably take 2, which leaves me 2 for other days, which is enough to make some nachos or everybody a bean burrito. It doesn't look like very much, but they're kind of deep, so they're plenty big enough to get out just when we need them. All right, it's time to make our bread for the dinner rolls or the buns. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of warm milk. To that, I'm going to add some honey. And about 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. And I'm going to stir that about. Now I'm going to let this sit and get foamy. I would say that I use 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey because I like it to have more of a honey taste when we're doing buns or rolls. All right, now I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of melted butter. I could have let that get a little foamier, but it's already 5 o'clock and I just want to get this going. I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to add 1 egg. And then I'm going to do 4 cups of whole wheat flour. And I'm going to put this on low and just let this knead for about 5 minutes. Okay, so this is still pretty wet, so I'm going to go and add a whole nother cup. So I'm doing 5 cups of flour. I would start with 4 and then just see how much you need, because you don't want it to be that wet, but you also don't want to make it super dry. Alright, so now here's what it looks like. I am just going to let this sit until it doubles in size. You guys, look at this. It's the cutest. My mom got me this. She brought it over at Easter. An old rooster and a cute chick live here. That is so cute. She said she found it at Cracker Barrel. And it's got little red trim on the bottom. I just think it's so precious. All right, so I've got my bread rising and we'll be back in like an hour. All right, so now the bread has risen. So I'm gonna punch it down and I'm gonna form it into the buns. So I'm just gonna kind of form it into a ball. I'm gonna give it a little push down. And then we're gonna cover and let these rise. But these should only take about 30 minutes to rise. Cover this and let it rise again. I'm right here, Pumpkin. Now with the rest of this bread dough, which is almost enough to make like a loaf of bread, I'm gonna go on and shape it into a loaf. Then I'm gonna put this in the freezer so that I've got a loaf of bread ready to go when I need it to just get it out, thaw, and let it rise. So I just have some of this like press and seal. And I'm just gonna wrap this good so you can go straight into the freezer. Okay, while we're waiting for that to finish rising, we are going to get our home fries going here. All right, and here I just have 3 yellow potatoes, and I am just gonna cut them into fry shape. And my oven preheating to 400. Okay, so with these, I'm gonna just toss with some olive oil and just toss them really good. Make sure they're all separated. And then for these, I'm gonna use just some of the seasoning salt. Put that on here. And I'm going to put some of this everything with the bagel seasoning. And I'm going to put these in the oven to bake. Okay, next is the coleslaw. I had this coleslaw mix and I don't know why I got it. I don't even remember why, and I don't remember why I opened it. But it's open and it's in the fridge and it's gonna go bad, so I need to use it up. Just getting some of these bigger chunks out. And then with this, I am just gonna do classic coleslaw. So I'm gonna do mayonnaise. I'm gonna do sugar. and apple cider vinegar. A little salt. A little pepper. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Alright, so here I just have a beaten egg. Well, one egg, and I'm beating it now. And we're gonna top these big beautiful rolls with it, or buns, with the egg mixture. It's gonna do two things. It's gonna brown it really nice on top, give it a really good crunch, but it's also gonna hold the sesame seeds on that we're gonna put on in a second. These are some big burger buns. Alright, then I'm going to sprinkle just some sesame seeds on top. I turned my oven down, if I didn't already say that, to 350. So now these are ready to bake until they're done. They're golden brown. Now our home fries are done, and they are quite delicious. Alright, my favorite way to do burgers is the air fryer. So with this hamburger meat though, I'm going to go on and dump this egg that I just used to brush on top of the buns. And that's just because I have it sitting here. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm out of seasoning salt, as you guys just saw when I did the fries. So I'm gonna add some garlic powder. And a little onion powder. And then I'm just gonna mix all this up. And then I'm just going to make this into burgers. So the burgers are in here, and I'm just gonna cook them for probably about, I'll start with 5 minutes, check on them, and they might go 10. While we are waiting on all that to finish, I thought I'd give you guys a peek at, this is what the bread looks like. It's already rising, that we made earlier today, the easiest bread dough ever. And the longer you let it sit, the more air pockets it's gonna get in it. So that's why it needs a 24 to 48 hour sitting. And that's just gonna make it crunchier and more like a baguette the longer it sits. All right, so here is dinner. Here are the buns and the fries. The burgers, 11 minutes, ended up being the perfect amount of time in the air fryer for that. You have the coleslaw, the pickled onions that I made earlier today. And then we got onions, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, and then this is tartar sauce. If you're not from around here, you might not know what Frisch's is, but they put tartar sauce on their burgers, and they are so good. So that is dinner tonight. Let me get a burger together and call Charles in. So I just cut open all the buns, and I just wanted to show you the inside of the buns. They are soft and fluffy and turned out perfect. Alright, so just so you can see, here is Charles's burger, and he's got his fries. I'm sure he's gonna love it. This is a definite Charles meal right here.
For me,
burgers and fries, a Charles approved meal.
I've been looking forward to this ever since you said you made it.
No. How are the fries?
Perfection.
haven't tried the bun yet, but that sure looks good.
It's an 11.
An 11.
Mm.
Good. We're ready to eat.
Mm.
Everybody's hungry.
Awesome.
Do you miss the cheese? Because we didn't have any like sliced cheese anywhere.
What cheese?
Exactly. That's what I kind of figured. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for tonight. We're gonna go eat this, and I think I am gonna make like a quick little kind of dessert though. But this video is gonna be so long, I'm gonna wrap it up. And if I do make a quick little dessert, I will share that with you guys tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye, everybody.